Hi, my name is Heather Principe. I'm a board-certified polarity therapist, and I'm here today to do a simple demo with Greta, who's decided to join us for this demo, to give you an idea of what this work is about and how this work can transform energetically, physically, emotionally, and mentally. So I'm going to ask you to join me while I have a small conversation with Greta to talk about why she's here with me, and then to show you just 3 simple moves that you can do with anyone to address what they come to you with or what they talk about in their physical body or their emotional body or their mental body in their lives. We run a school here, the Yoga and Polarity Center. We work out of the Yoga and Polarity Center in Malvern and out of 3 Elements in Bayside, Queens. And you are willing, if you're willing or wanting to participate in any of this work, you can connect with Erica Brontes at 3 Elements in Bayside, Queens, and she will connect you appropriately. So join Greta and I while we have a little investigation into the work of polarity therapy. Hi, Greta.
Hi.
How are you today? Good. So what brings you? What drew you here? What made you come here for a polarity session?
I clench my jaw when I sleep, and it's really not very good for, my teeth and all of that. And so I want to maybe be able to stop doing that. So I have an intention to be able to relax more when I'm sleeping.
Okay. So you're here to address your tension, pretty specifically in your jaw?
Yeah, jaw.
That you clench when you sleep? And to say a little bit more about the relaxation?
Well, I feel that when I'm sleeping, I think I'm relaxed, but if I wake up, I notice that I'm always holding a lot of tension in my jaw, and sometimes in my eyes as well. Okay. And I just,
Okay. So you're here to address the tension in your jaw and in your eyes that apparently comes up for you when you're asleep.
Yes.
Okay. Sure. So why don't you hop on the table?
Okay.
So for the purposes of what we're doing here today, Greta has gotten on the table. And I'm going to do a very, very simple series of 3 moves that address what we know in polarity therapy are the 3 poles of the ultrasonic core, or the center energy that moves through all of us in a spiral-like fashion. So I am going to tune into those 3 places, and as I do, I will speak to you briefly. The north pole of the body is the head, the south pole of the body is the feet, and the neutral pole of the body is the umbilicus, or the navel, belly button. So I'm going to start at Greta's head, and I'm going to tune into her core energy. And to do that, I'm going to do a very, very simple head cradle. And that is, I'm holding her head like I would gently and very softly and without any pressure whatsoever, without any movement whatsoever. I'm holding her head the way I would gently hold baby. And I'm just going to tune into her body, and I'm going to tune into the energy that moves up and down our spine. And we always speak to, in our yogic world, in yogic terms, we speak to chakras, and many of you who do energy work understand chakras. Well, the chakras are the places where these lines of spiraling energy cross in the body. So I'm just going to tune into that now. And while I'm doing that, I'm also tuning into her breathing and her breath. And what I'm most tuned into, once my energy and her energy begin an integrative process or a meeting and a relational process, is I'm looking for a change and a deepening of the breath and a general relaxing in the body. And there it was. We just had this beautiful And beyond that shift, I will just give her a few minutes to set up a new pattern of breathing. To do that, I have made sure that I myself am breathing. I've made sure that I myself am grounded. My feet are on the floor. My buttocks is in the chair. I'm not leaning. I made sure that I'm comfortable. Because clearly we can't do any work with anyone unless we are in touch with ourselves. And now a new pattern of breathing has been set up. And now we have a new pattern of breathing that has been set up in Greta. She is in a new pattern. So I'm going to move to her feet. And obviously we're cutting out some of the time in between being at her head and her feet. So most of you are going to miss the fact that I was here for another 5 to 10 minutes, tuning into that pattern shift, okay? So now I'm going to move to her feet, and I'm going to do the same thing at her feet that I did at her head. I'm going to do the same thing at her south pole that I did at her north pole. And I'm just going to tune into the energy by doing what's called a foot cradle. And that foot cradle has the ankle bones in the center of my palm. My fingertips are wrapped back around the back of her ankle at her Achilles. And again, a very soft and gentle touch. And I'm going to do the same thing I did at the head. I'm going to follow the pattern of the ultrasonic core. As I said before, we'll be cutting out 10 minutes of this once the breathing pattern changes and the shift is made. And there it was. There's the pattern change. And now we'll give her some breaths, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, for that shift to create a new pattern in her system. Okay. Finally, I'm going to move to do what we call a central balancing. All right. So the center balancing occurs between the sacrum and the head. And many of you are very aware of what we call the seat of the soul at the top of the sacrum. So my finger is just over that, pointed at her umbilicus, and my left hand, that's my right hand, is over her sacrum and umbilicus, and my left hand is over her forehead and third eye. And I'm just going to wait here until I feel a smooth, steady movement between those two places. It's like a very, very slow, steady ping pong ball. And when I feel that general ease between those two places, and I see a complete shift in the breath, there was a complete stillness in the body there for a moment. We moved to still point. And when the breath returns to her body, and there we go, there's the pattern. At that point, I come to completion with Greta, and I give her what time she needs to come to completion in herself, and we'll come to completion with the session. So just to say that that's 3 essential core moves of addressing the ultrasonic core, and there is a lot more to what we call the general session. And in our first weekend together, in all our introductions, we teach the entire general session and some very, very essential understandings about what energy is in the human body and what energy is in our relational bodies. I want to thank you for watching, and we hope to see you soon in one of our classes, or maybe even come in for a session. Thank you.